Hey, what's going on? This is Jeremy at IBL, giving you a very quick presentation of the AI University Physics Volume 1 Mentor, which will be used in a Physics 101 course. So before I jump into the actual conversation, which I will run through kind of quickly, if you'd like to take a better look at any of the responses from the mentor, please feel free to pause the video. But to show you how we set this up, I'm going to pull up the settings for this mentor. I gave it a name, a quick description. It's a physics mentor, so I attached it to the physics category. And the next thing that I did was I created a system prompt. And this is basically an instruction manual, so to speak, that tells the mentor what kind of information it's going to be working with, what subject area, what level students are at, what university it's going to be used for, and how we want it to communicate. For example, use a Socratic style prompt with questions, basically so that we're not giving students the answer and we're forcing a bit of critical thinking, right? So that's that. That can be changed at any time. It can be very easily edited or updated if you would like to change anything that you see there. And the data sets that I trained it on are the textbook Fundamentals of Physics. So because it's such a large textbook, it's something like 1,500 pages, I broke it down into a couple of chunks, trained the entire thing on the mentor. And lastly, I attached it to OpenAI's O3 model because it's a bit more higher reasoning and typically gives us a much broader overview response. So here's an example of the conversation. Basically, I'm asking the mentor questions about a number of the core topics that students in a Physics 101 course at a university level will be interacting with. So first question, how do I represent and analyze vector quantities? The way the mentor is going to respond is by kind of breaking down the definition of vectors, kind of describing what a graphical representation would look like, and then describing the components of vectors and various equations you might encounter without actually doing the equations for you. And at the end of its response, it's going to ask students to apply these concepts by working through these guiding questions that you see right here. And this is how every single response from the mentor should be, particularly if we're asking for an overview of a concept. If we're asking for the answer to a very specific question or formula, the mentor is going to respond much differently by still kind of giving us a breakdown of how we can do the equation without actually doing the equation. And it's always going to follow up with a number of guiding questions that students can then work through on their own. Next, I'm asking about point particle and rigid body dynamics using Newton's laws and energy methods. Again, the mentor is kind of breaking down how we do that without actually doing it for us by giving us a very comprehensive walkthrough to make sure we understand each portion of this and a couple example equations that students can then go and use with the actual data that they're working with. And again, at the very bottom of this, we're going to have a number of guiding questions to deepen that understanding. Next, I'm asking about how do I apply linear momentum and energy conservation laws to analyze collision dynamics. And again, this is exactly what we expect. It's exactly what I've already described. The mentor is going to break this down extremely comprehensively to make sure that everything is crystal clear, giving students the tools that they need to actually take this information and apply it to the actual work that they're doing. And lastly, we're going to see a number of key considerations at the very bottom here. There isn't really much room for a question in this particular response, but we want to always be following the mentor's response with something that is going to help students as they're doing this work on their own. The important thing is we're not doing the work for students. And I continue on this conversation. I'll just quickly scroll through so you can see kind of the mentor responses that we're getting as we're working through this, and the kind of key considerations or problem-solving strategies that the mentor is giving us. But this is a very quick example of what we've created for this Physics 101 course. And yeah, thank you so much for taking a look at what we've created, and have a great day.